Today I'm going to show you how to create an activity with digital materials from Think Central. This includes math expressions and journeys. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open Seesaw. You're going to create a new activity by clicking the word add, the big green circle, and then you're going to click assign activity. Assign activity always has a light bulb next to it. Once you're in your activity library, so you're going to click create new activity. Once you click create new activity, you're going to give it a title. So the title might be, I'm going to do Unit 7 3D Shapes. And then for my instructions, I'm going to number them. I'll add another video on here that shows the tips and hints on how to create really effective instructions with the buttons within Seesaw. So as you can see, I put a colon in front of add and behind it. And what that does is it creates a little button that looks exactly like the button that the student would have to click. And it's the same thing with the pen. It shows the little tool. And label, it shows how the text box tool. And MIC creates a microphone. You don't have to memorize those. I'll send you a cheat sheet because it really does help. So we have title, we have our student instructions, and the next cool thing is you can add your voice instructions. So you can read all of these instructions to your student. So, and when you do that, I'll just pretend I'm doing it. Say, hello students, today we're going to learn about 3D shapes. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to watch the mini lesson. And then when you're ready for the template, you're going to click add, click the student template, and you would go on and on. So, and then do you see how it kind of lives right here? So the student can listen to it, they can pause it, they can rewind it and listen to it again. The two most important parts of an activity is the add multimedia instructions, for example, and the student template. So this is what they would turn in, and they can write on it and edit it. Let's open the add multimedia instructions, for example. And then we're going to click on drawing. Okay, we're going to leave this blank. We're going to open a new tab. And then you're going to, after you open that new tab, you're going to go to Clever. Once you're in Clever, go to PCS Tools, and you're going to see the shortcut to Think Central. We're going to click right on Think Central. And once you're in Think Central, I'm going to use for my example a first grade unit in math. And then I'm going to click on the student activity book, which is right here. But you can use any of these materials, but I'm going to use the student activity book. So I'm going to click HTML5 ebook. So I want this whole worksheet to go on my Seesaw activity so my students can see me explain it in my mini lesson, and then also edit it so they can turn it in. So I'm going to come up here to this little tiny seesaw that's up in the bookmarks on the top right side. And this is an extension that will take a screenshot and put it directly into Seesaw. So I'm going to click Capture Selected Area. I'm going to start in the corner. I'm just going to drag it down as big as I want it. Maybe I don't want the page number. I just want it maybe to go right about here. When I let go, it's going to put it into Seesaw. You're going to have to resize it. So just grab those white dots and resize it. After you've resized it and you like the size, there's 3 dots. Sometimes the 3 dots are here, but they're connected to the picture. So click those 3 dots, and then you're going to lock it. And the reason you're locking it is because you want it to stay still when you or the students are writing on it. So now that we have our example that we're going to show the students, now we're going to record ourselves walking through the activity so the students know how to do it. Just a few things before we start. 2 important things that I probably would use, or 2 tools that I would use with this activity, is the text tool. So let me show you how that works. You're going to click on the T, and then you might want to type cone, and then click off of it. And then you're going to see these white dots, and you're going to resize it. and then put it right next to the cone. So that's one way they can do it. Another thing you could do is you could just make a bunch of text boxes and put them over here. And then when they do the activity, they would just drag them in. It's a little bit advanced, but if you click on this text box, you can duplicate it by clicking the 3 dots. And so then you could change that text to say cube, duplicate it again, sphere. So that's an option. You would have to do that in the template, the student template as well, but it goes pretty fast. So if you don't want them to do that and you want them to create their own text box, then I would do that while I was recording, modeling how to create that text box. The other tools, I would use the drawing tools, and I wouldn't get too nervous about which one they choose. Just make sure that the size isn't huge. So if you click on any drawing tool 2 times, 1, 2, it'll give you a size. Obviously, you don't want this size. You want the skinniest size possible. So then they can connect. The eraser, you can click 2 times and erase all your drawing. So if you want to start over, there's this kind of like cool sparkly pen you can use. So let's erase everything so we can model what to do. So this tool also is the select tool. So if you did have those text boxes over there, you can move them in. Now you can see when I try to move this box, it doesn't move because it's locked. And they can also choose a color over here, which is kind of fun. Here we go. We're going to click on record. Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn about 3D shapes. We're going to draw a line to match the like shapes. Then we're going to write the name of the shape on the line next to it. Some of the words you might need to know are cone, cube, cylinder, rectangular prism, and sphere. The other thing is when you're recording, you can use this big, huge arrow, and it's huge. And so if you're trying to really make a point, you hold it down and you can drag it around. So that's another option. So let me keep recording. Okay, so we're going to use a pen. We're going to click it 2 times. We're going to use the smallest pen possible. We're going to draw a line from this cube. Oh, it looks like this is a cube. And then I'm going to write the word cube. So I'm going to create a text box. T is for text. So first I'm going to type C-U-B-E, and then I'm going to click off of it, and then I'm going to resize it and drag it to this line. So to make a new text box, you would just click T again. Okay, that's what you're going to do. You're going to draw a line, and then you're going to write the word. When I'm done, as you can see, I paused by clicking this again. When you really like your lesson and you feel like you're finished, you're going to click done. You might want to do the whole thing with them. It's up to you. Click done. Now it's added to your lesson. So now you have your lesson in there. The next part is the template. So let's click the check mark one more time. So there is your mini lesson. Now we're going to add the student template. We're going to do the same thing, drawing. Now we're going to come up here to, as you notice, I still have these math expressions open. So I'm just going to go to my math expressions tab, and I'm going to put in this worksheet again. So click the Seesaw extension, capture selected area. And you might want to add another worksheet after this, and I'll show you how to do that too. So we're going to do the same thing we just did, make it big, 3 dots, lock it down so they can't move it. And then all you have to do is click the check mark because they know what to do. So now they have a template. Now, if you wanted to do more than one mini lesson, you can always click on this and edit. So let's just say this is one mini lesson, but you'd really like to do one more. You can click Add Page, and now you have another page. Maybe you would like them to do something like this, where they can draw on the paper. So you would do the same thing you did. You click Seesaw, the Seesaw extension, and then you're going to capture selected area. And then it's going to go right to your Seesaw activity on the second page. This is your first lesson. Your audio is still there. So you would do the same thing you did with this one. You would click record, introduce it. You would say, hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to build and draw this shape. Follow the instructions. Build a square. Use rectangles. So you're going to have to draw with these drawing tools a square, and you're going to use rectangles. Click done. Right here, you can see you have page 1 and page 2. And I'll show you what that looks like when you click the check mark. So now it's just telling the student that they have 2 pages. It looks a lot better once we assign it, but now you have 2 lessons in there. So you might want to go down to your template, add another page, and add that second worksheet in there for them to do. Same thing, click Seesaw, capture selected area, capture it, put it in that activity, follow the same instructions. Resize it, 3 dots, lock it, and then check mark. So now their templates are all ready to go. Okay, so this is what the activity looks like when I click save. It's not assigned yet, it's just living in your activity library. The really cool part about this is if next year, the year after that, you can assign this activity every year, and guess what? It's already done. You can share it with your grade level partners. You can all do a different activity and then share them with each other and divide up all the work. And it's a really great thing. And it's okay if another class hears a different teacher's voice. That's okay. So here's my lesson. Here's my template. When you assign it to your class, you would just click assign. I have a lot of classes, but you might just have 1 or 2 or 3. So I'm going to assign it to Mrs. Pinkney's sample class. I'm going to click assign to 1 class. I'm going to go to Miss Pinkney's class. And then the students, obviously this doesn't have anything in it because it's just a sample class. The student will go to activities, see this activity, click add response. When they're ready to do the template, watch the mini lessons, and there's 2 of them. And if you're on an iPad, you can just swipe, which is kind of fun. And then when they're ready, they can click add response, sample student, and then there it is. They can start editing it, and then that should work out. Now, if you do 2 different worksheets in your instructions, you might want to edit your activity. Everything's 3 dots, and you might want to put 2 different sets of instructions. For me, I would do 1 worksheet to start. But the advantage of putting 2 things in, 2 worksheets in, or 2 lessons in, is that it's all in one place. The mini lesson and the student template are all in one place. So that's a little bit more advanced to do 2. So if you're feeling uncomfortable or stressed, do 1. Now with journeys, you can put in books, you can put in worksheets, you can put in flashcards the same exact way by using this Seesaw tool. Okay, remember anything that's on the screen you can capture. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it looks like when the student accesses this activity. So I'm going to click I'm a student. And then I'm going to put my home learning code in and click go. Okay, now I'm in my class. I'm actually going to go to the sample class. So I'm going to go to activities. And here's that Unit 7 3D shapes activity that we created. So she's going to click add response. And then she's going to get to edit this. So one thing I didn't tell you is that the student can always click view instructions if they forget the instructions, and they can listen to the instructions as many times as they want. Then she finishes her assignment. So let's say she finishes it and she turns it in. Let's click check mark. So let's say she turns it in. She already did all the work. I'm not going to waste time by doing that all, but you get the idea. She would have finished it. And now it's sent to you. On her end, it says waiting for teacher approval. Now she has no activities. So let's go back to the teacher side. So I'm in Miss Pinckney's class. I'm going to refresh it. I just logged in. And I notice that I have unapproved post. So when I click review, I take a look at it. Maybe she didn't finish that second page, and that's okay. Maybe she didn't understand the instructions, so she didn't finish it. You're going to click send back. And it's an option if you want to try it. And so then when I go back to her, she just logged in at home, maybe the next day, and she notices that when she goes to her journal, it says draft because it was sent back to her. So then she can click this edit button and edit it. But I'm going to go to her activities. If you click on this activity, it'll show, I only have 2 students in my class, but it'll show all the students and who is completed and who is not. So I'm going to click on Allie's. And then I can comment on it. So I can like things, I can comment and just give her some feedback like listen to the instructions again, or just ask some clarifying questions. So that's what it looks like on the student side. They have a journal, they have activities, and anything in the activities they have to finish. Inbox, any announcements from their teacher.